Hey guys, so today I would be doing a tackle review on some of the rods and reels I use, especially when I go out spinning in Mosselbay and the surrounding estuaries. I've caught a few grunters on them, lots of leeries. So, topwater lures. This is the Rapala Skitter V10. It's a 14 or 18 gram topwater lure. It mimics a bait fish running. So basically, if you do it correctly, while you retrieve your lure, you basically just twitch the tip of your rod. It has a rattle inside. You basically, while you retrieve it, you just pull with your left hand or your wrist, just move it like this, and the action you would be mimicking would look something like this. Instead of just moving forward, it will do this. So it darts into one direction, darts into another. It's almost a zigzag movement. They call it walk the dog. It's not difficult on how to do it, but people tend to struggle with it. I will make a couple of videos on how to retrieve these lures, especially walk the dog. It is sometimes difficult if you don't know how to do it. The other one that I use for garrigs is the Zara Puppy from Hedden. It's a Zara Spook. It does not have any rattles in it, so it's a quiet lure. Also topwater. I mainly use topwater for some of the fishing I do, especially lures. This is a Top Fisher, also topwater, also similar to the Hidden Zara Spook. I use them. There's one that I use that's not with me at the moment, is the small, I think it's a mackerel color, so it has a grey or silver belly with where this is green, it is blue and with the same stripes. I know Newbie makes some of them as well. They call it the Z Spook. Deadly lure for leeries. They don't leave it alone. I think it's because of the rattles. Leeries tend to use their bilateral line to locate bait fish. So they use it quite a lot. This is the Pencil 107, also topwater from Rapala. This is the saltwater version, that's why it's a bit bigger. I would be using this one in Mosselbay, maybe Diaz, catch a few leeries or even elf. There's a few shad coming out. They tend to take topwater, so definitely using this one. It's a bait fish color, so it almost looks to me as a small sardine. Also has big rattles in it, so it makes a lot of noise. Looking forward to using this as well. There's not a lot of rocks where I fish for garrig, so we'll be using this a lot. Then the Halco popper or rooster popper. This is the small 3-inch. It's a topwater splash, so basically you throw it in and while you retrieve it you just jerk your rod and this mouthpiece creates a small it creates a bubble with water going through, and while the water is moving through it, it creates a big splash on top of the water, mimicking bait fish running or a shell of mullet. Just for fun, at Mosselbay Point, we use these small Jigheads. This is a 3 gram jighead. It's small, I think it's 1 centimeter hook gap. We use this for the small coral grootoogjes and or Frans madams and blacktails. It's just because the hook is small. It's light tackle fishing, so you don't need big hooks. The fish also doesn't have very big mouths. You do have very sharp teeth, but that's basically it. I would be pairing them up with these gulp worms. These are the ones from the video when we did the lure fishing in Mosselbay. This is the 6-inch sandworm made from gulp. Bought these at Tackle Shack. So I will be definitely raiding Tackle Shack again for these. If they don't have any more, I will ask them to order some of them for me. It's just Berkeley gulps. They are expensive. This packet cost me 160 bucks. So, but they do work. There's a few guys that made videos on them. Blacktails doesn't leave them alone, and then the Franceman Downs as well. What I'm also looking forward to is using this rod for the bonnies with one of the 3000 reels. I would definitely have my hands full with that, but I'm looking forward to it because I enjoy light tackle fishing. I just hope a geelstaart or a yellowtail does not pick me up because they are in the area. So yeah, I would be looking forward to that. Topwater Whopper Ploppers, basically it's a small topwater. While you retrieve it, there's no action you need to do. Just retrieve it, and this plastic part hits the water. Each time it hits the water, it just makes a pop sound. It throws some of the water to the front with this lip that's changed a bit. So yeah, also mimics small bait fish running. I would be using them for the leeries as well, because the leeries also like them. Mostly the bone colors, so that's why I caught most of my leeries on this Rapala Skeeter V10. It's in a white color. Also caught some of the grunters on it as well. I will add videos to YouTube as well for that. Yeah, so basically that's the rundown of all of my tackle. Let me know what you guys would want to see. These are the small shrimps, Berkeley gulp shrimps. I would be using them for the grunters maybe, if I can try and see if I'm able to catch them on this, because grunters are extremely skittish, so I'm not having a lot of hope for this. If this doesn't work, I'll most likely go over to the Mosselbay Point, throw them there, maybe catch a few blacktails or something, just to see if they work. Yeah, then small bass fishing. I've caught a lot of bass on these Zoom baits. They're also expensive. Basically, what I do is I enjoy a lot of light tackle fishing. So, for example, top waters, I would be using Halco popper. I think it's a 2 or 3 inch. Perfect for the top water on a flat sea. You cast this in, basically just pull it. While you pull it, it creates a splash of water mimicking a small shell of bait fish running. Haven't used this yet, I just bought it brand new about a week or so ago. So we'd be definitely using this in the upcoming week. I would be returning back home on the 12th of January, back to my place in Tergniet. So I'm definitely looking forward to using this one. There has been some reports of big leeries coming out. So we'll definitely give this a go. I do ultralight tackle fishing, so I don't use anything above 20 pounds on my reels. At the moment, both of my reels are spooled up with 15 pounds grinder braid. It's thin braid, so you can cast a mile with it. It's strong enough to land your bigger fish as well, if you just play them nice. I would be testing the braid out on the bonnies. I've seen some bonnies come out at Mosselbay Point, so I'm looking forward to using one of these 3000 reels to catch a bonnie on one of the Tempests as well. I have a few lures in Mosselbay. This is just all of the lures I bought here in the Val. as I was visiting my dad. So yeah, this small reel is the Akuma Inspira 3000A. I've made a video on it in the lure fishing in Mosselbay video, but till to this day hasn't let me down. It's still smooth as it was, so I'm pretty impressed with it. I'm a bit of a Shimano fan, but this reel definitely has surprised me. So yeah, then we have the trusty old Shimano Sahara in the C3000 HG size. Also light tackle, so 15 pounds braid. I have replaced the reel handle with a Gomexus 30 just because it makes it a lot easier to reel in. It does, however, make the reel a bit more heavier, but I don't really mind it because I'm usually fishing with very light rods. I have two Assassin Tempests. One is a medium heavy, lovely little rod, very light. I can cast 7 or 8 hours with them. It's extremely light rod, very sensitive tips, so you will see grunters and even small steenies pick up your prawns. It's not really a good way to show you, but it's a very light action. It's a 7 to 21 grams lure that you can throw with it. The JPN rating for the braid you need to use is between 10 and 20 pounds. So that's why 15 pounds is better. I would love to scale down to 8 pounds of braid, but that's going to be a bit interesting because 8 pounds braid is extremely light and it's thin, so you would be throwing wind knots if there's maybe a bit of wind. So yeah, I would test that out, probably make a video of it. Braid I'm looking at is the JDB Ultra Tech or Ultra Tough in the 8 pounds. So yeah, that's the one rod. The other rod is the one that I made the video with from the lure fishing at Mosselbay. Since then, I accidentally broke the tip of the rod. So what happened was I closed the door, and while I was closing the door I didn't notice the rod was inside the door frame, and while I closed it I just broke the tip. So this is now, instead of a medium heavy, a heavy action rod. So I don't really care about it at the moment. I tend to throw a bit more weightier lures with it. So yeah, looking forward to catch a body on this one, as I would like to keep the other one in one piece. So yeah, that's basically a small setup with the rods. I have a small Assassin sling bag also at home, so this would be 2-part videos. This would be the first part. The other part of this video I would be bringing out probably on the 14th or 15th of January, when I have all of my lure bags and everything, so I can give you guys a bit more detail on what I use with the other lures I have. Also, something I bought while I drove back to my dad's house while I was visiting him was this pack of topwater Whopper Ploppers. So basically we use these for garrigs as well. It creates a lot of noise in the water as it basically pops inside the water or on top of the water. It has a small plastic that basically just turns around, and while it's turning it just pops. I haven't caught any leeries on it yet because I bought this while I was driving up to my dad. So this would be the first one that would hit the water and hopefully catch a leerie. I have them in the color of bone, There seems to be like a small mullet color, and then just your normal red head with silver or white. And you have this one. This is a bit of a chartreuse color. I can give you close-up videos of this as well. So, just some of the other lures that I use are the Cobb Slinky, McCarthy baits. Haven't caught any cobs on these yet. It's in the bronze back color, but yeah, haven't had them for long, so definitely be using them when I return back home. Other lures I use in the video for the, I think it's the Learys were crazy in this estuary video. I've used a lot of top fisher, top water lures. There is one that looks like a small mackerel, has a silver belly with blue on top and then black stripes. The Learys absolutely annihilated that. I'll put in a photo of that. Learys don't have any teeth, but they do have it's almost sandpaper-like mouths. So they tend to scrape off some of the coloring of your lures. I do have another Rapala Skeeter V, where the color is also off, just because of the Learys. So I'll definitely add a few photos in part 2 of this video. Sometimes you need to learn out of your mistakes. So when I broke the rod tip of the One Assassin Tempest, I basically went down to one of the local tackle shops in Whopper. It's still fishing. Lito is one of the guys there, and he hit me up with this adrenaline rod tube. It just protects the rods so that you don't break any of the tips anymore. Found it quite funny that I first had to break a tip in order to buy something like this. It's definitely worth it, guys. Definitely invest in something like this. Just protect your rods. PVC tubing that they use, or maybe something else. It's lined with almost nylon or yeah, I think it's nylon on the inside. Then you have a pad that you can remove if you really wanted to. It just protects the rod tips while you are traveling with your rods. It just has 2 zips, a small shoulder strap. So definitely invest into these guys. It's worth it. It saves you a lot of money instead of buying a new rod. So yeah, small other things that I use. Small pliers or wire strippers. It's in the precision range, just to snip off some of the line, especially tag ends and stuff. It does cut braid line that I use. So while I said I use 15 pounds braid from Grinder, I use for the monofilament or small leaders, especially when fishing these light lures. I tend to go to a 5.5 kilogram Maxima Ultra Green. This is 0.32 millimeters. It's 12 pounds. It's 100 meters. It's not that expensive. It's 55 Rand. But definitely use this instead of just using your braid. Especially if you need to break off or something, you can break this off instead of losing your braid. And also, because it's that thin, you can feel a lot of bites. It's extremely sensitive. It doesn't affect how your lure works in the water because it's that thin. So yeah, and also if you need to throw it through your guides, it's very thin. It's almost the same thickness as my braid. No, the braid is 0. I think it's 0.12. But yeah, definitely invest in this. It will hold you a couple of years. You don't use that much, mainly a meter to a meter and a half. You can actually check on one of the reels that I have. It might be actually 50 centimeters that I use, and that just basically helps you with some abrasion, especially with reeds and small rocks and stuff, so it doesn't cut your braid. Make sure when you use monofilament, if there is some bite marks or even small nicks on the line, replace it rather than losing the fish. It hasn't happened to me yet, but I know of people that did not pay attention to the monofilament, hooked up to a big fish, and it just broke, just because they didn't look out for any nicks on the line. So yeah, that's basically a small rundown on what I use. I will make a bigger video with it, probably take you guys out for a Leary session. I'm looking forward to buying a GoPro at some point, maybe end of this month. Just need to get my Jeep fixed, and then I would be creating a lot more content. So look forward to the next couple of weeks, upcoming weeks. I would be making a few changes to the channel as well. I would have solo mission Sundays, where each Sunday I would go out, create some content alone, and then tackle Tuesdays or tackle Thursdays. I think Orlander from Zuluk Fishing does tackle Tuesdays, so I don't want to impose on his idea. So I would be doing it on a Thursday. So yeah, without further ado, that's a rundown on all of my tackle that I use in my area at the moment, especially bass fishing. And yeah, I will see you guys next week with one of the latest videos. There might be 2 videos coming out, one for ultralight tackle fishing, once again in Mosselbay Point, or even one of the other spots that I tend to catch. It's a secret spot, so there's not a lot of people that knows about it, but I will definitely rate a tackle shack in Mosselbay. I'm coming for your gulp worms. I'll probably call Anthony to tell him to get me some gulp worms. If he doesn't have any more, I will most likely ask him to order some of it for me. Definitely go check out Tackle Shack in Mosselbay, just behind the checkers. Definitely go check out Still Fishing in Voorby. Nito will hook you up with a good price on your rods and reels and everything you need else. Tackle Shack, Anthony, I've been a long time supporter of the tackle shop. So yeah, looking forward to go back to my home, back to fishing.